Attention Northwest Arkansas businesses and talent seekers. Introducing OnboardNWA.com, your hyperlocal job board crafted for our unique community. Struggling to find the perfect match for your job openings? Onboard NWA simplifies the hiring process, connecting you with the region's top talent through tailored talent matching solutions. Whether you're an employer seeking expertise or a professional looking for your next opportunity, Onboard NWA is here for you. Discover more at onboardnwa.com, and let's build the future of Northwest Arkansas together.
Support for this episode comes from Signature Bank of Arkansas. Founded here in Northwest Arkansas in 2005, Signature Bank of Arkansas is a full-service bank offering traditional checking and savings accounts, investment accounts, business and personal loans, and mortgages. When you bank with a community bank, you're investing in local businesses, local entrepreneurs, local charities, and the causes that are close to home. Signature Bank has worked hard to earn its tagline, community banking at its best. Give the folks at Signature Bank a call today at 479-684-4700 or visit their website, signature.bank, and let them know you heard about them here first on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Signature Bank of Arkansas is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Without further ado, here's our fearless host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn. I'm excited to be with you today. I've got a shortened special Thanksgiving week episode for you. I decided that I wanted to just thank you. Thank you for listening to this podcast on a regular basis, and wanted to really talk about what I have to be thankful for this holiday season. I know a lot of us are getting ready to go visit family and do all kinds of fun things over the holiday period. Here in the United States, we have a couple of extra days off. So, most people are taking a break between Wednesday and Sunday, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So it should be a lot of fun for most of you as you decide to go drive to see mom or dad. Hopefully you're vaccinated. And again, no judgment if you're not, but if you are, even the better. But maybe you're going to see grandma and grandpa. Maybe you're getting on a plane or a train, or you're getting in your car and you're going to see a loved one or somebody that you care deeply about. I certainly hope that everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we certainly can't do this without you on a regular basis. So we wanted to do something special by just giving you a couple of episodes that you should probably go back to in the archives of I Am Northwest Arkansas to maybe listen to on your travels during this Thanksgiving period. But first, I just wanted to share why I'm thankful. I'm thankful because I have a wife who loves me, Nicola. I couldn't do it without her. I have three beautiful boys, Joshua, Nathan, and Aiden, who are essentially the light of my life when it comes to the why behind why I do the things that I do. And then, of course, I have a bunch of great friends, both near and far. And I was reminded of that just the other day when I got to see two of my very dear friends from college. And you know what they say, in your life, you're only going to have a couple of core friends. I have some core friends from when I grew up. I have core friends from college. And now I have core friends that I've acquired over time through my adulthood in the multiple places that I've lived, including here in Northwest Arkansas. And so I'm just thankful for all of the tremendous friends that I have. Is a special shout out to the twins, Chris and Adam Cloud up in Hartford, Connecticut, because you guys rock, and Anthony Sumlin here in Northwest Arkansas, as well as Ben Clark here in Northwest Arkansas, and Aaron Marshall here in Northwest Arkansas, and Matt Cooper, and man, the list goes on and on and on. Nate Walls. I mean, I know I would be in trouble because I'm not going to mention everybody, but I just appreciate each and every one of you. Kira Ramsey and her husband. I mean, just so many tremendous folks that have come into my life, and have made a difference. And I really appreciate you. And when I think about what I'm thankful for this holiday season, and specifically this Thanksgiving, as we are slowly coming out of this pandemic, we still have a ways to go. And again, I'm going to encourage you, if you can, get vaccinated. And if you can't, fine, but just wear a mask, do whatever you got to do so we can stem the tide of this pandemic and slowly come out of it. Because I feel like we're getting there, but I also feel like we're going to, I don't want to regress, right? If that's the best word to use. So anyway, this is not a pandemic episode. We're not going to talk about that. I've done it a lot in the past, and I kind of want to focus on some positive things, and that would be family. That would be, just being thankful for what I have. And so I wanted to encourage you guys to be thinking about that. And I was really moved today. I got a chance to visit my church, New Life Church. It's the first time that we've been back to church. We've been doing church virtually, but it's the first time that we've been back to church since the pandemic. And it was actually quite of a bittersweet moment, because my pastor, Jason Kimbrough, who is the pastor of the New Life Church Fayetteville, was leaving. He basically resigned his position. There's nothing bad going on. He just decided that this was the end of his season as a pastor at New Life Church, and now he's got plans to move on and do some new things in his life, both for he and his wife Ashley and his lovely family. So I'm excited for him, and I had a chance to reflect as I was sitting there listening to his sermon today. And, I really want to encourage people to think about what you're leaving behind, right? Not in the sense that, clothes or any other items like that, but more importantly, how are you living, and what are you leaving with people that they'll remember you by, even while you're still alive, right? Because I think that's important. I mean, yeah, hopefully we leave a legacy when we leave this earth, and I don't want this to be too deep, because this is a podcast about I Am Northwest Arkansas, and a podcast about the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life. But sometimes I just feel like talking about things that may be a little heavier or maybe a little deeper than what we normally focus on. So please indulge me for a minute. I know you trust your boy. I'm not going to steer you the wrong way. So just hang with me for a second. But anyway, he talked about, the fact that we need to be intentional about how we live, and we need to be intentional about where we give, and where you give your time, where you give your energy, and where you give your money, and all of that stuff. And also to be intentional about who you influence. And I was thinking about that, and I was wondering, man, am I being intentional about how I live, and about, how I give my time and my energy, and, whatever finances I have, and sowing into the things that are happening around me in the community, because there's so many great things happening here in Northwest Arkansas. And it got me to really thinking about that. And I really appreciate Pastor Jason sharing such a powerful message on his last Sunday as the lead pastor there at New Life Church in Fayetteville. And it just really struck me about, the legacy that we leave behind, the things that we leave for others, our kids, our friends, our loved ones. You have to be intentional about what that legacy is, and you need to be thinking about it at all times. And, it's funny because I sometimes wonder, what will be my legacy here with this podcast, right? Will anybody ever remember Randy Wilburn in 10 or 15 years, or maybe even 20 years, or maybe even 30 years? Maybe if I retire and go somewhere to live on a beach somewhere, will anybody remember that I ever did this podcast? And I'm not sure. I mean, only time will tell. But for right now in this moment, my focus is bringing the best ideas and the best people and the best programs and the best institutions to the forefront and create more awareness around them. And that's the reason why I'm doing this podcast on a regular basis. I don't make a lot of money with this podcast. This has been, as I've always said, a passion play, but it's also been something that, has allowed me to become a better version of myself. By virtue of the fact of the great people that I meet doing this podcast. But, there's just so much to it. But I wanted to just share that thought with you. And I know that when we get to the holidays, sometimes it can be a downer for a lot of people because we struggle with the holidays, right? How do we do it? Maybe we don't like being around our family for one reason or another. And I hope that that's not the case for you. But if it is, I understand. And so I just wanted to leave you with something today on this episode to just tell you and remind you that you need to be intentional about how you live. However you're living, you need to be intentional about it. Be about living at your highest and best version of yourself and really make some things happen because life's too short not to do that. And the one thing that we can't get back is our time. So if you use it wisely, if you continue to push yourself to new heights and try new things and engage with new people and make new friends and, there's just so much out there for you. And one of the things that I enjoy about being here in Northwest Arkansas is that I meet people that are living their fullest life. And I would hope that even those of you that are listening to this particular episode are doing that for yourselves. And so I just said, what's the best way to do a short episode before Thanksgiving to encourage people to be the best version of themselves is by sharing some of the stories that we've experienced here on the podcast. And so I really, if you're on the road this week to visit family and friends, why don't you take the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast with you? And there are a couple of episodes that I want to highlight that I think are worth your time, are worth the price of admission, which is free. And I think you should definitely check them out. And so remember, all of our podcasts can be found on every major podcasting player platform. But you can also go to the website and just type in iamnorthwestarkansas.com/ and then the episode number. And that will take you right to the show notes and to a website player, which will play nicely on your phone because our website is mobile responsive. It will play nicely on your phone wherever you are. So check it out for what it's worth. First episode I want to encourage you to check out is episode 39 with Chef Jason Paul from Heirloom in the 1907 building in Rogers. They have just opened back up. The food is amazing. Jason Paul and Danielle, his partner, are amazing. They do an amazing job of just preparing some of the best food that you could ever want to eat. And again, I've talked about him. He's been on the podcast before, but check out episode 39. And when and if you have the free time and you can get a sitter, if you have kids, you need to go up to Rogers. If you don't live there, go to Rogers and check out Heirloom at the 1907 building. You're going to have to make reservations in advance. Tell them that I sent you here at the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, and they will take tremendous care of you. But it is an experience unlike any other from a culinary standpoint. The next episode I want to encourage you to check out is episode number 42. You can hear the origin story of my man, Nate Walls from Secondhand Smoke Barbecue. Nate is just doing amazing things in our community. And I always like talking about Nate because since the beginning of the pandemic, Nate has just made it his mission to feed everybody in Northwest Arkansas. And yeah, that's a bit of hyperbole, but dude has done a great job of getting out there and preparing food. I've gone with him personally to deliver food to people that are food insecure. And it is a tremendous feeling to be with him carrying all of those styrofoam packages of prepared meals. And let me tell you, this brother knows how to throw down with a smoker. his food is amazing. And the thing that I love about Nate is that he has continued to evolve in his culinary abilities, because he wasn't making jackfruit barbecue back in the day, but now he is, and it looks just like pulled pork. And for those of you that are vegan or vegetarian, if you haven't had Nate's barbecue jackfruit, you're missing something. So you're welcome, and I thank you for checking Nate out at Secondhand Smoke Barbecue. But listen to that episode, because he really bears his soul about the why behind why he does the things that he does, and where he came from. I mean, his story is amazing. So check out Nate Walls on episode 42 of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Another episode I want to encourage you to check out is episode 46. You can learn about the Museum of Native American History in Bentonville, or MONA as it's called. But it is a fabulous museum that a lot of people don't know about. So many artifacts, so much history, especially about the Indian community right here in Northwest Arkansas. So I really want to encourage you to check out episode 46 to learn more about MONA. In episode 56, we sit down to learn about 37 North Expeditions. How they cater to the adventurous outdoor spirit here in Northwest Arkansas is amazing. They offer some of the best outdoor programs in this area. And if you're new to this area and you've said, I really want to learn more about Northwest Arkansas, but I just don't know where to start, just go to 37northexpeditions.com. That's the number 37northexpeditions.com, and check them out. And if you do connect with them, let them know that the folks over here at I Am Northwest Arkansas sent you. And then if you go to episode number 63, this was an episode that we did right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I had a chance to sit down and have a conversation with Doug Allen from Jose's Bar and Grill right there on 412. And the title of the episode was Don't Give Up, because Doug just shared his story and shared what he was doing to keep his restaurant open during the pandemic. And for those of you that do or don't know, 20% of I want to say 20,000, not 20%, but 20,000 people in our area that worked in the service industry either lost their job or had a reduction in income because of the pandemic. And that statistic, more than anything else, helped us realize how important it was to have service workers working on a regular basis. And Doug did everything he could to keep as many people on his staff employed throughout. I mean, dude sold sanitizer. He did whatever it takes, but he makes a mean margarita. And Jose's Bar and Grill on 412 does an outstanding brunch. So I certainly want to encourage you to check out episode 63 when you can. In episode 75, I sat down with Ox founder Charu Thomas, and we talked about how and why Northwest Arkansas is such a fertile ground to start a business. And here's a young lady that's as smart as a whip, could go anywhere to start her business, but she chose Northwest Arkansas to do it. She's a Georgia Tech grad. She's been courted by folks out in Silicon Valley. She chose to start Ox. It used to be called Oculogics, but now it's called Ox, right here in Northwest Arkansas. And I've had her on the podcast for the episode that I just referenced, which was episode 75. I've had her COO, Tanner Green, on the podcast. Just an outstanding company. And I honestly believe they are going to be a game changer in this space in the next couple of years. And if they're not public, I don't know, they're going to do something amazing. Maybe there'll be some venture capital involved. There already has been. They've had a couple of rounds of funding, but I always joke with her that, she's going to be Mark Zuckerberg big one day. And it's going to be exciting to see. And I'll be able to say, I remember her win. So definitely check out Charu Thomas on that episode of the podcast. And then episode 88, another outstanding startup of sorts, but in the clothing arena, is Livsn, LIVSN, capital L, capital I, capital V, capital S, capital N. Livsn, right? Makes some of the most comfortable pants in Northwest Arkansas, let alone the country. Learn about them and the success of their founder, Andrew Gibbs Dabney, and on episode 88. The pants are insanely comfortable. I have a couple of pairs and I swear by them. You can find them in some of the adventure stores that sell adventure apparel and shops around here in Northwest Arkansas, including that new place that Walmart just opened. I think it's called Moose Jaw, but I believe, I know for a fact that they carry the Lives in pants, and you can also order them online. But check out episode 88 to hear all about how Andrew Gibbs Dabney got started. They had an amazing Kickstarter, raised a lot of money, and so, yeah, definitely worth a try. In episode 91, we sit down with Chef Erin Rowe, who wrote the Ozark Culinary Cookbook. She knows more about the Ozark culinary scene than anybody else. She does a tour. She knows all the great chefs here in Northwest Arkansas, and she is an amazing chef herself. Certainly want to encourage you to check her out and check out episode 91 of the podcast to hear more about her story. On episode 97, you can learn all about the largest co-op in the state of Arkansas. We sit down with Mike Anzalone, who is the general manager of Ozark Natural Foods, and learn what they are doing and how they are expanding in their new home at the corner of Lafayette and North College in downtown Fayetteville. That co-op space has been open now for about a year, and they are doing some amazing things. And just in a short period of time that they've been there. The co-op's been around in Northwest Arkansas for 50 years now, but they are really just an outstanding organization. And so certainly would encourage you to check that out. If you're not familiar with the co-op, you need to be. In episode 109, I want you guys to learn a little bit more about Skills Lab Training and how they're preparing Northwest Arkansas's next generation for employment success. I sat down with the founders of Skills Lab Training not too long ago, actually, because we're at episode 1. I think this is episode 147. That was episode 109. Definitely an episode worthwhile to listen to, and especially if you have a young person, you're trying to figure out what the next steps are for them. Do they want to go to college? Do they want to start a career? These guys know what they're doing when it comes to preparing the next generation for employment. So check out episode 109 with the folks from Skills Lab Training. And finally, in episode 117, you can hear how Amanda Childs, who runs the local chapter or local office for Community Service Inc., how she is keeping families strong here in Northwest Arkansas. Community Service Inc. has been around since like 1955. It was founded by a judge, and they have been making a difference in the lives of family members that are just have children that are at risk, and they just do an amazing job at helping these families to adjust and to deal with some of the challenges that they're faced with, and how helping these young kids acclimate to growing up and dealing with some of the challenges and stresses that may be in their lives, and how to kind of right the ship if they've kind of gone down the wrong path. And Amanda's story is amazing. So that's definitely worth a listen as well. And I mean, clearly, I think all my episodes are worth a listen, but I wanted to kind of highlight some of those for you to check out. And if you look at the show notes, all of the links for each of the shows that I just mentioned are there for you to check out. But I would encourage you just to go visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com, plug in any of those episode numbers. You'll be pleasantly surprised, and it will give you something to pass the time on your trip to see grandma, or your trip on a plane somewhere, or your trip home, or for those of you that are leaving the U of A for a couple of days, this will give you a chance to check out something new. But that's all I have for you. That's all. I just wanted to share that with you so that you guys had something to check out with the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting us, for listening to the podcast, for downloading it, for sharing it with friends. And it's just, we couldn't do it without you. And we certainly appreciate you supporting us with all the stuff that you guys do on a regular basis to give us feedback and let us know how things are going. And so that's all I have for you right now. So I hope you're having a wonderful and amazing Thanksgiving week. If you're still here in the Northwest Arkansas area, check us out on Facebook or check us out on Instagram at I Am Northwest Arkansas. If you're out of town with family and friends, just have a safe time. Have a great time. Remember to mask up where and when possible. And trust me, I was just on a plane the other day. If you're on a plane, you're going to have to mask up. So even if you don't like it, you just got to embrace it for a little while, because I hated being in that mask for the number of hours that I was on that flight. But, you know, it is what it is. So, well, that's another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. And to learn more about us or to read or download the show notes from today's episode, just visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. Remember, you can listen to this podcast and sign up for our free newsletter to keep up with us and all things NWA. Sign up today. You can also follow the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast wherever you listen to it. And please consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Remember, our podcast comes out every Monday, rain or shine. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here next week for a new episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. We'll see you soon. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes and more information on becoming a guest or sponsor, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.